Welcome to Profile Traders. This is the market analysis for October the 14th, and this is Reza speaking. So this morning, after yesterday's big drop and a huge victory for the sellers, we closed at the very bottom of the day, and everybody that was holding short overnight went on victorious at home, and everything was looking good, hoping that the Asian markets would open and we would see further meltdown during the overnight, and this morning they would all go home millionaires. But when they came to their office, they realized that there was absolutely not even a single contract that was willing to sell below yesterday's low, which indicated that we did a little bit too much on the downside yesterday. And rather than further selling, they started to buy it, and the overnight ended up being within range of yesterday. This was your very first indication that support came into the market. Second indication was that we closed towards the very high vicinity of the overnight, which was very good. Therefore, the first push initially was supposed to be on the upside, and we captured pretty much every single good move that the day gave today. I have recorded videos of every single one of them. You can go and view them. But pretty much we called the very high and we called the very low of the day. 1890 to 1894 was my sell zone from the very early on, before even the market opened, and then 66 to 63 was my buy zone, and that was the very low. This was the very high. Now, since we have closed towards the middle of the day's range, these two parameters are still invalid, and now market is entering a potential trading range. Therefore, for anything to the upside to happen, we need to break 1890 to 94. For anything to happen to the downside, we need to break 1866 to 63. Now you have to be careful that with already a sell-off that has initiated itself from 2000 down to these 1850-60 levels, they need to bring in a heavier artilleries to be able to break below these levels and create a massacre. If they do not do so, you're going to see every break to the downside from these current levels by making a new low to fail. So technically now we are starting to become a little bit oversold on the big picture, and at least an oversold rally is due to take the pressure out. But that being said, you also have to be very careful, as I said, that if they do bring the heavy artilleries, once we break below 1850, it could become very nasty. As of right now, obviously we can't tell what will happen. All that we can tell, based on what is in front of our eyes, is that 63 to 66 is now support. Therefore, they need to break that for any follow through to the upside. And once it breaks, we need to monitor the nature of the break to assess if it's real or a fake break. As for crude, the meltdown is continuing. The war between the suppliers in the Middle East is continuing. Everybody with containers full of oil is willing to sell it below the market. That, combined with the decreased demand due to global recession and everything else, it is just knocking it down. So now we have a very fresh break that has been initiated from 83.50, which is now critical resistance. As long as we remain below 83.50, further downside is definitely in the cards and in play. How much lower will it go? I cannot tell you. I have no idea. We are living in a very big mess around the globe. Predicting anything with a good faith is impossible. All I can say is that if it comes towards 83.50 is a sell until we decide that we have built enough support down below 83.50, and then we want to trade back through it on the upside, at which point it will indicate that potentially a short-term low is in. But right now it is not indicating anything. On the contrary, when we broke below 83.50, the drop was quite drastic, and the break off of 83.50 has been extremely successful. Volume has been very high. It's all been on the sell side, so it is looking pretty down bearish. As for gold, is acting fine. It's acting very, very good. The fact that it did not follow oil is a very positive thing. The fact that it did not follow the rally in the dollar against other currencies, it's a very, very positive thing. Therefore, it is in a consolidation for potential break to the upside, but under no circumstance at this stage we should break below 12.23, more or less, and any pullback towards 23 to 25 should encounter support. And if we don't and we break below 23, next target then is 15. If we break above 38.40, next target is 50. But thus far, based on what the charts are showing, this is a bullish consolidation because there is no sell pressure, there is no rush to exit. The day's range is quite small, which means that market is in a stage of a pause, and therefore the likelihood of a break above 12.38 should be higher than a break below 12.25. As for this Ebola patient called Euro, the back and forth mess is on. I mean, there is no direction. It comes to life, it goes back dead, it's all over the place. So you have to scalp it, you have to be fast in and out, capture 20, 30 ticks here and there, and anything that you overstay becomes quite nasty quite fast. So the trading range for this euro is now quite huge. The range on the downside is at, let me see here real quick. Okay. Anyway, the downside range, excuse me 1 second please. Downside range is 1.2611, upside is 1.2770. You buy as close as possible to 26.11, 26 even. Once it tests that area, because that area is good support, and you sell as close as possible to 27.70 until one of these levels, either 26.11 or 27.70, decides to break. If we break below 26.11, 26 even, we should go to 25.30. If we break above the 27.70, we should go to 28.55-ish. Of course, these are larger targets that I'm giving you. I'm not telling you that it will happen tomorrow or the day after. I'm just saying once these two levels break, we should definitely exit out of this current rotation, and the moves should be quite dynamic. So that's it for today. Have a great evening. Again, profiletraders.com. If you decide you want to learn market profile, give me a shot. I'm sure I can teach you a few things. Have a great evening.